the chopper is not coming, and that is okay. And that is my latest realization. And there's going to be the share on that. This is going to be us talking. We're going to get a little messy. We're going to get very real, and it's going to be okay. I promise you. Recently, I wrote about this in my Substack. The article was called "The Chopper's Not Coming," and that is okay. And you are basically the only person you need. If you read it, thank you very much. If you didn't read it, we're going to talk about it in here and we're going to dive a little bit deeper. And I'm going to hopefully give you the cliff notes on some things so you don't have to deal with the coming to Jesus moments on the F train like I had to. But yeah, that's what we're talking about in here. So welcome back to the Art of Self. Thank you so much. If you can subscribe right now, I would really appreciate that. If you could like this post, I would love it. If you could share this, you're going to be one of my favorite people of the week. So let me paint a picture for you, shall we? I'm on the F train. I'm in the middle seat. We are stuck underground for a little bit. Little panic every time that happens, but I try to calm myself down. Like, it's like when 30 seconds feels like 3 minutes. Anyway, guy to my left is like eating halal out of a styrofoam tray. Of course, I'm like highly fixated on like, didn't we give up styrofoam? Wasn't this over? Like, is it back? Does he know like the plural carbons? I don't even know what's the phthalates, the BPA, all the things. Like, I was like losing it for him, and like he didn't care. Then next to me on the other side, little kid going to town on his boogers, deep in his nose. And that's the thing about little kids, they like they'll pick their nose on the F train. They don't care. Like they just should we learn some things from little kids? Like, do we just because they're living life for the first time, they're doing it fresh. So until someone comes along and says, "Hey, quit picking your nose. That's not right." They're just gonna vibe. So I don't know. Maybe we should take some thoughts from them. I don't know. Some maybe take example. Not necessarily pick our nose, but you know what I mean. Like do you? All right. So this kid's like picking his nose, like he's doing a scratch off ticket. He's like up in there, and I got no cell service, no podcast downloaded to listen to. The book on my phone was too much of a self-help book, so I wasn't going to read it because I wasn't in the mood. I was in a real like moment, so it was just me kind of chilling with my vibes, and by my vibes, I mean my intrusive thoughts. The styrofoam underground too long, and then boom, the moment that was like, when the intrusive thoughts turn into like a mirror or turn into like a spotlight onto you, and you kind of like really see yourself and you're kind of like, okay, this is what we're doing now. Well, that's what happened. So what happened to me is I'm sitting there and I kind of like got this like aha, and I'm like, bitch, your godmother ain't coming. Like, what have you been waiting for? What are you sitting here waiting for? And that's kind of like the chopper's not coming vibes of you gotta do this stuff yourself. Like, you're sitting here waiting for some magic moment. You're waiting here for permission, maybe. You're waiting for like some universal green light to light up above you so you can finally go start doing the things you want to do. And what are the things you want to do? Doing stuff like this, putting yourself out there more, doing more projects, finding time to do the projects, finding time to make video and kind of like combine all your skills of like content and editing and photography and writing and taking some chances on yourself, of moving and shifting out of your career that has you burnt out beyond belief, and either figuring out, are we going to like walk away from this career altogether? Are we going to be like, see you later? Or are we going to figure out how to like refresh it and fall in love with it again, and kind of like date my career again, and figure out the things that made me love it in the first place, or find like who I am now in this, in this career. So, yeah, waiting. Uh and then I realized I have been waiting, and I don't know if I like thought like someone was going to come and save me. I don't know if like someone was going to like swoop in with the answers. Someone was going to have like some architectural plan for like my life. I don't know. Waiting for the money, waiting for things to settle down at work. It's like, how are things ever going to settle down at work? You're a nurse, you dumb bitch. Like it's never like it gets quiet for like a few minutes or maybe a day or two, but it's like healthcare. Like something's always going on. And I just don't know what I was waiting for. And then in that moment, I kind of realized it. And it was like, I'm waiting for someone like me to come in and fix it or say this is what you should do or just kind of like course correct me and like push me on my way. And it's like, I don't need to wait for someone like me because I am me. So it's like, why don't you just do what you're doing for everybody else? Why don't you just do what you're doing for everybody else? Let me say that again. For you. And like actually get to this realization that like the chopper's not coming, like the fairy godmother's not coming. You are all those things. You're usually those things for everybody else. So stop doing it for everybody else and maybe just do it for yourself for like, I don't know. Let's try it out for a week, you know? All right. I wrote some notes because, all right. So this realization that no one's showing up at the plans, no one's going to give you the roadmap to your dream life, no one's going to validate you in the next chapter or the next career move or go, here you go. I mean, maybe if you're an Epo baby, you get the here you go, but like if you're watching this YouTube, you're probably not an Epo baby. If you are, tell your parents to fund my next project. But it's nobody's job to tell you that like it's time. And I'm not saying any of this like I'm saying this not mean and I'm not saying this like, like tough loving sugar coated kind of vibes. I'm saying it very lovingly because I've spent years being that person, that friend, the person who does everything right, even when she doesn't want to, the person who takes the high road, the karma, the altruism, you know, the right thing, being responsible, being the friend who shows up, being the healer, being the one who holds it all together, that employee who like, wants to be like, you're cool, but just, like maybe not that gracefully, but you know what I mean? Just like taking the high road so much or doing the right thing so much or just like jumping into action instead of like letting other people figure it out that like I became so many people Sherpa and I like needed my own. And the truth is all of that was kind of me in hiding because it's kind of, when you're like the work wife or you're like the significant other who's like super supportive or you're the person who, behind the scenes is always doing the right thing and rolling your sleeves up and doing it for everybody else and making everybody else look good. You're kind of hiding sometimes. Like, yes, it's cool to be supportive. Yes, it's cool to help people out. It's great to help your significant other out. It's great help your kids out. Please. Maybe they won't go to therapy for as long as the rest of us did. But behind my reliability, behind me always doing the right thing, I just kind of like convinced myself that if I just kept showing up for everybody else, that they would do the same thing for me. And that's not going to be the case. And also, when they do show up for you, first off, you shouldn't be showing up for people because you think they're going to show up for you in return. That's not the vibe. That's not the reason to be doing it. If you're going to be altruistic, if you're going to be, Mother Teresa vibes, you should be doing it for those reasons. Like, I had a friend years ago who said to me, like, you shouldn't be nice to your brother or sister because like this is going to date me and age me, but because you're going to go to Toys R Us later and get like a toy. You should be nice to your brother or sister because they're your brother or sister and like you should just be nice to them, not because you're going to be rewarded, right? So we shouldn't be like showing up for people and we shouldn't be doing good things because of the reward we think we're going to get, or it's going to be like, well, I scratch your back, you scratch mine, with consent, of course, but like we shouldn't be waiting on that. And that's not the reason to do those things from the jump. You should be doing that because you want to. Because if you're only doing it because you think they're going to come back and they're going to do this for you, you're going to be very disappointed. And you're going to be me, like on the train being like, "Oh, okay, now it all makes sense." So I was kind of hiding behind this reliable person, right? Because you look good. You don't have to take a chance on yourself. You don't have to get messy because it's nice and clean. It's in order. You're going to help. You're going to do the things. Everyone's going to say, "Oh, good job. You helped us out. You're the best. We can always count on you." And one, you're not getting disappointed. Two, you're not having to take a chance on yourself. You're not having to put yourself out there. And also, when I guess like the realization comes in that how you put yourself out there or how you help people is not going to show up the same. So it's like if you're always doing, you don't have to you don't have to, I guess, receive or open yourself up to receiving. And that's kind of like what I was not doing. I was not like opening myself up to receiving because it doesn't work like that. When those people do show up, if they do, it's not going to look the same. Like if you gave someone a dollar, right? A dollar bill, even if they give you a dollar back, how many times is it going to be like a dollar? You know what I'm saying? A dollar might not be the best example here. Let's use $100 bill. You give someone $100, right? I'm like, hey, here's your $100. Okay. We give them $100. Even if they pay you back, how many times are they going to give you an exact $100 bill back? They're going to probably pay you in some 20s. They may give you some 20s and 10s. You may get like, if they go to the club a lot, you may just get singles. If they work at the club, you may get singles. It's not going to be like 5 in, 5 out, 5 out, 5 in. Say you give a friend a job, right? I'm like, yeah, girl, I got you. I'm going to hire you. I'll give you a job. When that friend helps you out in 5 years, we'll say, do you think they're going to give you a job? Or in their head, are they going to be like, yo, Donna gave me a job. She helped me out. Let me make sure I show up for her in this way. Because maybe that person can never give you a job, but maybe they'll help you try to find the love of your life. Maybe they'll be your pseudo therapist, even though that is not their responsibility. But like when you're going through some things and you're going through the breakup, or maybe when you have, like that job and you're having a hard time, there's someone on the inside now because you gave them a job and they can help you and they could be like, yo, this bitch talking shit about you. I know you think she's your number one worker and I know you think she loves to kiki with you, but I want you to know in the conference room, because she don't know we're friends, she really goes to town talking a lot of shit. And then you get like, you know what I mean? So it's like the paying back isn't going to look exactly the same. So that's what I'm talking about. So how you show up for people when it returns to you is not going to be the same. I think for a long time, I was waiting for it to look the same. Also, I don't know if I said this in this episode, but I'm kind of hyped because today I've had a chai latte, a matcha, and an espresso. I feel like I could rocket out of my seat right now. I have so much energy, which is so if I'm yipping too fast, sorry. Okay. My other realization on the F train. This kind of waiting for someone to show up or waiting for it to be my turn or waiting for this like universal permission that this universal green light, waiting for all of this was, again, a lot happened on the train in 3 minutes. This was like a bloop, 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 and then I had to go back and like you know what I mean, like file and look through the files of this. I realized that this is just a very dressed up form of self-sabotage. Waiting for the right time, waiting until you lose weight, waiting until the money's right, until your partner gets their shit together, until your boss like gives you that raise or finally acknowledges you or gives you permission to, take that time off or go for that class. If you're doing this, that waiting for that green light is never going to come. And it's kind of like a form of self-sabotage because hiding in the helpfulness, hiding in the waiting, we basically disguise procrastination as being responsible. So it like makes us feel good. We look good to other people. And I convinced myself that it was like, oh, this is just me being patient, right? This is just me waiting for the universe to like set me up. And it's like, no, bitch, you are avoiding. This is not patience. This is avoiding right now. And that narrative and keep telling yourself, oh, once everything falls into place, I'll finally start like that, like nothing's falling into place. Everything's just like falling into a million pieces that now like you're like scrambling, like trying to, put together. And you're not stuck. You're not like stuck in traffic. You're like just sitting there, like being your own red light at this point. Like you're just like looking around and you're like, oh, I can. Did you ever see that meme? It's like, I always send it to my friend. If I could find it, I'll put it in. But it's basically a little cat. It's like a little kitten. And the kitten is literally on the third step. And all the kitten has to do is like go down the steps. But like it thinks it has to like jump down the steps. So instead of like even attempting to like walk down the steps, it like jumps into the bush that's next to it. And it's like, you just had to walk down the steps. But like, that's us in that waiting. And that's like the self-sabotage. It's like, we don't even need to jump. We literally can walk down the steps. We've just made it so much bigger than it is. And like instead of like, we're looking for a green light, but we're like red lighting ourselves, um, at this entire time. And I realized this even more when all of this like came together. I had just quit my job and I had resigned from my job, and I thought, all right, well, I'm finally gonna do all the things. Like very type A, very first daughter of me, like I said in my Substack article, like me thinking I'm God here, I'm gonna move like a mountain in like 3 weeks. And I'm gonna build this empire. I'm gonna launch this project I'm working on, and I'm gonna get my life together. It's all like the montage, you know what I mean? Of me like doing like 100 things at the typewriter, making, at the vision board. Like, no, what did I do? I I fucked around. I was on the internet way longer than I needed to be. I was scrolling social media. I literally would wake up and like walk around New York City and like, which was kind of cool, but also like wildly distracting, like just kind of like on the vibes. I was procrastinating. I cleaned my house. My house has never been that clean. I've cleaned it so many times in the time that I had off, and it didn't need to be because I kept distracting myself. I kept procrastinating. I made cakes. I made a lot of cakes. Like, we don't need to be eating this many cakes. This much buttercream does not belong in my life right now, not with my cholesterol levels the way that they are? So I just kept distracting myself even more. And now there were none of the excuses. There was no work, right? There was no deadlines. I wasn't really spending money because like I wasn't doing anything. So it wasn't like waiting for the money to get right? All it all the things I had like preoccupied myself with, the house being messy, having to get this done, having to handle paperwork, having to go through the mail, like, oh, when this is done, I'll do that. I did a lot of my task list, yet I still wasn't turning myself to my project or my writing or my YouTube channel or the things, you know, that I wanted to be doing. Like, I was reorganizing drawers that did not need to be reorganized. I was deep cleaning things that did not need to be deep cleaning. I was making elaborate dinners that like nobody asked for. But in a weird way, it was like, oh, I was checking like things that had like a mini process. So I felt accomplished, but like I wasn't accomplishing. When you make a cake, like you feel very accomplished after you make a cake most of the time, unless it doesn't turn out well. But you have like a start to finish, and you have okay, I had a concept, I had an idea, and now I can show something for it. But because like this like YouTube stuff and the content and like my writing is like ongoing, it was like I didn't want to take that chance of like, okay, you're going to do something and you're not going to get that immediate dopamine hit of like satisfaction and accomplishment. And that's when I realized like, oh, you're kind of doing this to yourself at this point, because you always said like, oh, if I didn't have a job, I would do this, I would make my content, I would like go after the things that I wanted to do, I would like do these projects. And it's like, it's been like almost a month and you have not done any of this shit yet. So this is not the job now. This is you. This is not the messy house now. This is you. This is not, waiting for things to settle down at work and you feeling a little bit more energized. This is you because you slept until 11:30 this morning. Like how much fucking more do you need to sleep? Like you have the energy. So I looked productive, but it was basically distraction with like, dressed up. Like it was distraction in a really cute fit. That's what it was. And I think we all do this. Like we're all guilty of this, right? We don't feel worthy of starting. So instead of starting, we spin and we spin ourselves out, and we just keep spinning like a little hamster wheel of responsibility. We busy ourselves with the illusion of movement, but we are not going anywhere. We are stuck in place. We are a hamster on a wheel, and not realizing like you could just step off. Like you just step to the side, bitch. Like you're doing this to yourself. And I think a lot of the time we're in that spin, or we're in that self-created spin of responsibility, of activity, because you know, the truth is, if like the dishes get done at 8 o'clock in the morning or they get done at 8 p.m., like is it the end of the world? No. But your brain, like in my case, has been conditioned to like no fun, no self time until responsibility is done, right? And that's like no one's coming to yell at me. No one's coming to punish me. No one's coming to tell me like I can't go out because like my room isn't clean. Trust me, I would like never be outside, and I'm outside a lot. Like if I gotta go outside, if my room wasn't clean, your girl would never go outside. But I think a lot of us, a lot of the time, are waiting for someone to say, "Hey, I see you. You're allowed to go now." And my biggest thing is that you are that green light. Like you got to give yourself the permission to say, "Hey, I see you. You can go now." You got to give yourself some grace. You got to give yourself some compassion. You got to say, you know, just go do it. Like you don't have to you're procrastinating. Like give yourself a little like you're procrastinating. You don't need to clean right now. Why are you going to make a cake? Why don't you sit down and just try to do 15 minutes of writing or reading that book or even exercising or like moving or whatever like you're trying to do. And when you decide to do this, it's okay if it's messy. It's okay if it's not perfect. And I think a lot of the times, like a lot of us resort back or like hide in work that we know and we're good at. Like for me, like when I go to the hospital and I do my job, I'm good at it. There's a process, there's a start, there's a finish. It's a you do this, then you do that. But like with this stuff, with this creative stuff, there's no there's no process, there's no syllabus. It's me kind of like figuring it out as I go and then being like, "Oh, that didn't look good. Oh, now I got to do this again. I got to start over." There's no like quick dopamine hits. There's no quick accomplishment for me. And then sometimes stuff I work on for a really really long time like nobody cares about and stuff that I'm really proud of, right? And then stuff that like I kind of just like put up and like I think is just like me and my Instagram stories being like, weird. People I'll get like so much feedback for. So it's like, that sometimes that's a little like, oh, well, why I put so much effort into this? How come no one cares? And it just goes to show you like if people like don't do it for other people, like do it for yourself. And when you kind of decide and when you shift and when you give yourself this green light, like excuse me, the world kind of shifts with you. Like it's really weird how like once you decide or once you kind of like show the universe, yeah, like I'm doing it. This is what I want to do. It's weird how like things you start to like get into flow. And yeah, getting into flow if you haven't been in flow for a while can be a little bit difficult, but you got to start and give yourself some grace. And I had this conversation that kind of like the thing that sparked all of this was a conversation that I had had with doing the Art of Self interviews. And if you haven't watched the Art of Self interviews, you absolutely should. But I was having a conversation with Nore Davis, and if you don't know who Nore Davis is, he is a writer, he is an actor, he is a comedian. He's just like an all-around talent who like when he puts out a project, it's start to finish. Like when he put out his album, his comedy album, this dude like from the album cover to the shirts, he had merch for it. There was a whole branding campaign behind his album cover when he puts out, a project or a writing project, he has a whole like campaign. He's the director, he's the writer, he's the content creator, he's the producer, he's the brand manager, he's the graphic designer. Like, and if he's not, he'll like, explain his vision to someone. And even like his launch party for his album, it's like it was like a launch party for a brand. Like he's just so talented and he's also an Aries, so shout out to him. Um and he's going to be in the next interview for the Art of Self. And I hope you really enjoy it. And I hope you get a lot from it because Nori is just like such a all around layered creative. And he just inspires me so much. And we were talking about this exact thing. And he's the one who kind of like put that in my head of the chopper's not coming because we're sitting there and he just like looked at me and he's like, Donna, the chopper's not coming. Like it's not coming. And that's okay. And that line and him saying that to me felt like a slap and a hug at the same time because he's right. Like you're waiting for someone to come and like pluck you out and tell you it's good and to give you the green light. But also in this world we're in now, like we have access to so much stuff that we did not have access to years ago. YouTube, creating our own stuff, like cameras, like to do the stuff like you're doing on even YouTube or content creation, you would have had to have a whole production studio. You would have had like have to have like crazy expensive equipment to pull this stuff off. And we have the ability to do this like at our fingertips. We have the ability to like reach out to, CEOs of companies on Instagram or, find people who are like the editor of a magazine and slide into their DMs. Like we have the ability to, if you're I don't know, like a director, like to make videos and put them up on YouTube, and, someone will discover you and find you, or put your portfolio out there. Like, we have so much to us that, like, we have so much, like, access to things that, like, we don't have to wait for the chopper. Like, we're not in the jungle. We're not in crisis. You're in a self-created crisis the majority of the time, or a self-created, like, moment, and, like, you're holding yourself hostage because you don't want to take a chance on yourself, because you've been told, like, not to, or you've been told, like, don't believe in yourself. Like, take a look outside and see the people who are, like, in charge right now. Do not question your ability. Like, go for it. Go do your thing. And you're you're not stranded. Like like I said, you are not, like, stranded in the jungle. You don't need to be saved. You're not any of those things. You're just scared. You're scared. And when you say that out loud, it's not as big as it is when it's inside your head. Just say out loud, I'm scared. I'm scared to do this. I'm scared of being judged. I'm scared of people, like, not liking it. I'm scared of people being like, what the fuck is she doing now? I'm scared of it not making sense. I'm scared of it being messy. I'm scared of it not being as polished as what I'm used to. I'm scared of the unknown. I'm scared of failing. Like, what are you scared of? Because we're all scared of something. Like, if you're not scared, like, there's something that we're scared of. Like, I've seen, like, the biggest dudes who, like, literally could kick 5 people's asses at the same time, and they're scared of snakes. You know what I mean? Like, or they're scared of, like, I don't they're scared of, like, dumb shit that I'm like, "You're scared of that?" We're all scared of something. Just remember that. And a lot of times, just admitting that something's scary, or talking it out with someone and be like, "Yo, I'm scared. I'm scared to put myself out there. I'm scared to take this chance on myself. I'm scared that, like, what's it gonna look like? I'm scared that I don't know what to do next." You're gonna find that a lot of people are in the same situation as you. A lot of people don't know what's, like, look at what we've been living in for the last 5 years. Like, even when we think we know what's next, it's like, "Well, okay, well, wasn't expecting that one," you know? Also, where are the aliens? Like, when are they coming? But I gotta look at my notes here. Um, so what do we do with all of this? What do we do with realizing that no one's gonna hand us our best lives, and we gotta go build them? And yes, this is more shit to do now, and you gotta pick up the pieces and you gotta figure it out. Well, you show up for yourself. You build the thing. You show up for yourself like you would show up for a friend. You start to be the reliable one for you. You wear that outfit. You walk out of that job and say, "Yeah, nah, this ain't working for me. This ain't the vibe anymore for me. This is what you want for you. That's cool. I don't want this anymore for myself." You launch the brand. You get on that train and you ride it wherever you're meant to go. You sit there with your thoughts and you say, "You know what? I'm not going to run from this anymore. I'm not going to try to escape this reality, because it's my reality and it's true. And I'm going to stop looking for the rescue team and start curating my own reality show, and I'm going to live in it. And yeah, it's going to be messy. And yeah, maybe I'll flip a table or two once in a while. But it's going to be all me. And you have to listen to yourself. You have to listen. You have to turn down the noise and what everybody else wants and what everybody else thinks is a good idea and what everybody else is telling you. And you got to, like, really, really listen to you and listen to what that sounds like, what those dreams sound like. Because the other side of it is, sometimes choosing yourself means making, like, small decisions that are not glamorous, that are not for the gram, that are not big and showy, but they slowly add up over time, and they add up to your own freedom. And by freedom, I mean from you keeping yourself in the cage that you have yourself in, keeping yourself hostage, keeping yourself in that mental loop that says you can't do this, or you got to wait, or you got to wait for permission, or you got to wait on this until the money's right, Or, you know what, in 5 years, that'll be something I do. Because guess what? 5 years comes quick. Look at how fast 5 years has gone since 2020. Like, we're in 2025 now. Like, this shit happened quick. And life's going on with or without you. And when you say that out loud and you have that realization and you really realize, like, life's happening with or without me, like, I can be a bystander to it or I could really live in it. And let me tell you something, the end is coming faster than whatever else you want to be doing. So just go do what you want to do and get it done, because like that end is coming in. That's the one thing we're all promised. Like, it's going to be over. So like, are you going to have fun and you're going to do it? Because like I said this 100 times, no one lays on their deathbed. And I've seen a lot of people on their deathbeds. I'm a cancer nurse, oncology nurse. I dealt with like seeing people die, and no one sits there on hospice. No one sits there dying and says, "Wow, I am so glad I played it small. I am so glad I didn't take any chances on myself. I'm glad I sat here and played it safe because that was all worth it." No, no one says that. Nobody at all. You got to ask yourself, like, are you someone who needs rescuing? Like, you're not stranded. And you got to ask yourself, like, do you really need rescuing? Are you the type of person who needs rescuing? Or are you the person who's always got it for everybody else? And if you got rescued and someone turned around and said to you, "Oh yeah, look what I did. I saved her. I helped her." Would you be like, "What the fuck? I could have saved myself." So go do it, cuz you're not stranded. You're not. You're just waiting. But you got to ask yourself, like, for what? What are you waiting for?